Okay, so this is a ghazal, and it was published in Rattle. It's also part of the new chapbook. It's for Syria. I wrote it in 2015. It has lots of references to stories that were in the news that particular week. And it has one Arabic word that is bahr. Bahr in Arabic means the sea. But bahr in Arabic poetry also means meter, so I play on that. This is called Ghazal Back Home for Syria, September 2015. Tonight, a little boy couldn't walk on water or row back home. The sea turned its old face away. Again, there was a no back home. Bahr is how we were taught to measure poetry. Bahr is how we've stopped trying to measure sorrow back home. All that blue is the sea, and it gives life, says God to the boy standing wet at heaven's gate. Does he want to return, to go back home? My friend who hates cooking has made that eggplant dish again. Says nothing was better than yogurt and garlic and tomato back home. On the train tracks, a man shouts, hold me, to his wife, bites her sleeve as if he were trying to tow back home. 13-year-old Kinan with the big eyes says, we don't want to stay in Europe. Just stop the war. He repeats, as if praying, grow back home. Habibi, I never thought our children would write, help us, on cardboard. Let's try to remember how we met years ago, back home. On our honeymoon, we kissed by the sea, watched it rock the lights, the fishing boats to and fro. Back home. If you're Arab and you say ghazal, you immediately think love poem. In the English language, if you write a ghazal, your poem should be like this, so in couplets, 2 lines, right? And then there's an expression that gets repeated at the end of each couplet. In this poem, it's back home, back home, back home. And then the word that comes before the repeated expression, all the words should rhyme. So in this poem, no back home, sorrow back home, go back home, tow back home, etc. All right, so that's the ghazal. And what's fun in the ghazal is that you could usually, each couplet can be entirely self-sufficient. So you can literally jump stories, and that's what I like in it. As you've noticed in this poem, I jumped stories, and the ghazal unifies them. And usually in a ghazal, which I did not do in this one, the last couplet puts the poet in the picture. So the name of the poet. So there would be a Zeina. So the poet usually conjures him or her name in the end. So there would be like something Zeina, something back home. But I did not do that for this one. I just chose not to do it. In other ghazals, there's another ghazal of mine called Ghazal this Hijra. Hijra means displacement, basically. I do that at the last. I don't say Zeina, but I say Baba insisted on my Arabic name. And so that's how I conjure. Usually the poet conjures his or her name at the end in the last couplet of a ghazal. That's the tradition.